Our Lisa Peterson went to the Bonnaroo site yesterday and checked on the progress taking place, and also interviewed Steve Feener, the site coordinator, to tell us what it's like to build a city every year on a pasture in Middle Tennessee.
We were out here 2 weeks ago and there was basically nothing that had started under construction. There were a few trailers that had been brought in and a few things, but as you see now there's walls up, there's tents that have been put up, lots going on out here. In a week and a half the stages will start to be constructed, and in 3 weeks from now this place will be packed with festival goers. Behind me is the beginnings of this stage, which is where some of the secondary concerts go on during Bonnaroo. And then to my right is where the cinema tent will be, where they have 24-hour movies that are shown. Today we have with us Steve Feener, who basically he builds Bonnaroo for us each year. Steve, can you tell us how many festivals that you have built before?
Oh, I've probably done 20 to 30 over the last 22, 23 years that I've been working in the industry.
Wow. And how long have you worked for Bonnaroo?
Bonnaroo, 7 years.
So you were with them from the beginning?
I wasn't here year one. After year one, I've been with them, so this will be my 7th year.
How long does it take and what size crew does it take to put together and build Bonnaroo?
It takes about 4.5 weeks before the show to get it up and going, and then it takes about 2 weeks after the show to get it all taken down. We usually have about 50 to 100 guys out here on the build to get it up until you get closer to the show time where it starts getting ramping up to the thousands.
I know you work really hard to get this put together and then to take it down. Do you have time while you're out here to get to enjoy the bands and have some fun?
Every once in a while I get a chance to go peek up on the stage and check things out. It just depends what the flow of the day is. But usually by then things have calmed down a little bit, and I usually get to peek in every once in a while.
Good. Can you tell us if there's any permanent plans to the land since Bonnaroo purchased it?
We're researching and developing what things we can do to improve the site, always to make it a better place for the concert goers and possibly to have other future events here.
And the big question that everybody wants to know, will we ever have permanent bathrooms here? Is that in the plan?
And again, that's all part of the study that we're figuring out to see what's possible and doable, again, to improve the site.
And we see a little helicopter that flies around all during the concert. Can you tell us what is that helicopter?
That's for our parking and traffic. Our 2 guys that run our parking and traffic go up in the helicopter so they can see how traffic's moving, how to redirect people to keep the traffic moving as quickly as possible. And that's what they do.
Good. What is the most difficult part of setting up Bonnaroo?
Difficult really setting it up. We got such a great team. It goes like that. It's just the weather. Depending on whether it's raining, too hot last year, those are the things that kind of slow us up, hold us back. Judging if we got rain, a storm coming in. Last year it was a heat and the drought.
Right.
So the ground was a little bit harder to drive things into. That's really the toughest thing, is dealing with the elements. But other than that, we have such a great team of people working out here that getting it up and down, goes pretty smooth other than the weather.
Do you have a set routine every year, or does it change somewhat?
No, I mean, as far as the build and how we build it, yeah, we have a set routine, and the vendors, local vendors we work here, the people have been doing this for 5+ years, at least, if not longer. So they know what's happening every year coming into Bonnaroo, and they're here to set it up, and they know where things go. And again, it's the repeat businesses, and that makes it easier for us to keep moving on.
Right, so you've kind of got it down to a science. Yes. Then.
Yep.
What is the funniest or most unusual thing that you've witnessed happen here at Bonnaroo?
The funniest
that you can talk about.
Unusual thing at Bonnaroo, that's tough. I mean, there's a lot of crazy things. I'd say a few years ago where we had quite a bit of rain, I think it was year 3, and people being covered in mud and still having a great time dancing, enjoying the music and being covered in mud to head into. So it was a pretty funny thing to have that kind of spirit, to keep enjoying themselves.
It was amazing.
And not let the weather bother them is a pretty amazing thing.
And it wasn't just a little bit of rain, it was like monsoon season here. How does Bonnaroo compare to other concerts that you've worked?
Well, it's basically building a city. Other festivals or concerts don't necessarily have the camping to it that we do. Some festivals have a little bit of camping, some won't. Concerts don't have camping. So you come, you set up the stage, set up the arena, you come see the show, you're done here. You're building a city for people to camp and live at, and then you're trying to create entertainment over 4 days. So 4 days, you want to keep people having a good time, enjoying, and just different things. And that's what we do great at our festival. It's just not about the stages. There's a bunch of other activities that happen here that make it exciting.
So this is probably the most difficult concert that you have to put together, or?
It's challenging. It's the most challenging as far as the broad spectrum of what you have to do, you know, for this type of crowd, this many people, and mixing camping and the concert together.
Right.
Make it, you know, more difficult than it would be if you didn't have to have all those elements into it. But I don't take that as a difficult thing. It's more
a bigger
of
challenge.
It's more of a challenge, and it's more of a thrill when you pull it off.
Right.
You know, to say, hey, look, if we do this every year, we build a city. You come in, they have a good time, and they go home. You can't beat that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the concert's finally over with. Time to pack up and take everything where it goes. Where does everything go? Where do the stages go? Where do the bobbleheads go?
A lot of the stages usually we rent, they get loaded back up and shipped back to whoever we rented them from.
Okay.
A lot of the artwork we store here on site. So either we put them in storage containers, or we have a few barns that we put them in, so we storage there. And a lot of the wood we save, so we try to keep reusing our wood all the time. And the tents go back to whoever we rent the tents from. Trailers go back to whoever we rent the trailers from. Generators go back to whoever we rent those from.
Okay, and there's so much artsy and creative stuff out here at Bonnaroo. Where do the ideas for those things come from, such as the bobbleheads and the painting of the fountains?
We have a gentleman by the name of Russ Bennett that works for us, that's the mastermind of a lot of the creative activities. But a lot of the partners that put on the festival are very much entwined with working with Russ to come up with these great ideas, and they do a fantastic job.
Yes,
it makes it really fun.
Is there anything new that we should expect this year at Bonnaroo?
There's always new things at Bonnaroo, but we want people to come and see it, to be surprised to see what's new this year. And yes, there will be new things, and it'll be exciting and fun.
Great. Steve, we appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.